Tips for sustainable wealth every Friday, 7 p.m. UTC by Fluffy and Alex. Two lightweight warriors are competing one against the other. Two layer 1 general purpose blockchains that aspire to be Ethereum killers are clashing in the ring. The winner might challenge the champion. Fantom versus NEAR Protocol. Which one has a better performance? Tokenomics, or what warrior is best for the long term? And the most recent developments those projects have. One is performing much better in this bear market. Let's see which one is going to win. Alex, back to you.
Hello guys. Let's start with price performance, or which crypto would have made us more money through the years. If we compare both of them since October 2020, when both projects were live for the general public, it is clear as day that Fantom, the orange line, has vastly outperformed NEAR. Get this. If we invested $1,000 into NEAR Protocol in October of 2020, today we would have around $3,000 to spend as we please. But if we invested the same amount of money for the same time period into Fantom, right now we would have around $15,000 in our pockets, and we would be ready to party.
Party hard.
Not bad, I would say. Now guys, if you want to check another awesome supply chain battle, a giant versus a hobbit that might prove a worthy opponent, VeChain versus AirDAO, click at the suggested video at the right top corner. Now let's have some fun with Tokenomics, or which project to choose for the long term, as clearly one is pretty overvalued, I would say. NEAR Protocol is almost 3 times bigger than Fantom, which with a market cap of $1.4 billion, as Fantom's valuation sits around $583 million. NEAR has a circulating supply of 834 million tokens, and FTM has 2.5 billion comparatively. Maximum there can ever be 3.17 billion Fantom tokens. On the other hand, new NEAR tokens will be generated forever, although the total supply for now is 1 billion. 83% of the total NEAR supply is already unlocked and circulating, and 80% of the maximum supply Fantom has is out there circulating already. Which leads us to the question, how fast the rest of the supply will come into the market and create potential sell pressure, pushing price down. NEAR Protocol has around 16% inflation rate per year, which is low for a relatively new project. Fantom, on the other hand, has only 5% inflation rate per year, which is pretty good. The only Fantom supply left to be unlocked is for mining rewards through staking. And we know from the Fantom Foundation itself that those tokens unlock in a rate of 5% annually and dropping. Not only Fantom has a capped supply and a pretty low inflation rate, it also implements burning mechanisms, such as burning 30% of the transaction fees and burning the coins that are required to participate in a governance vote, although the amount burned here is pretty small. 8.37 million FTM tokens have been burned till this day since the mainnet went live. Here, it is important to mention that just a week ago there was a governance proposal to cut the burning rate by 75% and use those funds to fund development of dApps in the ecosystem, which I would assume is a move to the right direction. Fantom has used a portion of burn fees in the past to do exactly the same, and the community saw this move with a bright eye. On the other hand, NEAR tokens will be unlocking till the end of 2027, along with the mining rewards through staking. Mining rewards, similar to Fantom, have a 5% annual inflation rate and dropping, but together with the rest of categories unlocking, the inflation rate is much higher. NEAR Protocol also implements burning. 70% of all transaction fees are removed, which is more than Fantom, and it definitely has good chances of becoming a deflationary token in the future, even though NEAR does not have a maximum supply like Fantom. Total value locked on NEAR Protocol is 78 million and has dropped like a watermelon from a cliff at the end of October. We will see why soon in our Commendatory. According to DeFi Llama, NEAR has only 11 projects contributing to this value. The biggest are a decentralized exchange and a lending platform. Fantom, on the other hand, has 7 times more the TVL of NEAR, almost $500 million locked in the network. Fantom has around 200 projects contributing to this TVL, and the majority are decentralized exchanges and lending platforms like Aave on Ethereum. So Fantom has 7 times bigger TVL but is worth 3 times less than NEAR, which gives us a figure of 1.17 market cap to TVL ratio and leaves Fantom in a very good spot. Values below 1 are considered undervalued and above overvalued. There is no comparison to Near Protocol, which is far behind with 17.9. Price to sales ratio is also much better on Fantom. It makes less overvalue. 844 is better than 3,254. This comes from how much revenue those blockchains are making through fees. Fantom has made $3.17 million in a year through fees and made in the same time period almost $1 million in revenue. Near made $528,000 in fees and revenue in the same time span with Fantom, so either Near should be worth less or Fantom should be worth more. Even if we assume that Near Protocol was burning the same amount of fees with Fantom, it still would be around 1 million revenue, same with Fantom. So the clear pick from the tokenomics section alone is Fantom. But this is not the end, as recent developments might deliver a hidden uppercut and knock out the opponent. Before moving on, guys, if you are wondering where would be the best place to keep those two fighters, and if you want to support the channel, then get one of the safest cold wallets out there for your assets. You can purchase a ledger using our affiliate link that you can find in the description down below. Now, let's unravel the latest developments in our Commendatory to understand where those fighters are headed. The most recent news in November want Andre Cronje return to Fantom Foundation. Cronje is a prolific coder and a software developer mostly known for his project Yearn Finance, who has also worked on Keeper V1 and SushiSwap. And to understand how much of a big deal he is, upon just rumors of his return, Fantom had spiked in price. After his return, Cronje released in the end of November the firm's financial records, revealing that it had $340 million worth of digital assets and had been earning over $10 million annually. Also, they didn't have exposure to FTX and Alameda. And maybe he was the reason that we saw a huge vertical spike in unique Fantom addresses, a spike that almost reached 25 million. At this point, the total staked amount in the network is 48% of the circulating supply, which is decent, I would say, for a bear market. The development activity seems to be steady with waves of up and down. Unstoppable Domains partnered with Fantom in October to make crypto transactions easier. In March, we saw Poloniex announcing a partnership with intentions to help Fantom ecosystem grow. On the other hand, Near Protocol saw a massive increase in active users 2 months back due to its partnership with Sweat Economy, which is a project similar to Steppen in the move to earn category. New wallets saw a tremendous increase and the total amount of wallets had reached almost 15 million. And just 1 month after those events, the total amount of wallets increased even more, reaching 20 million. September was an all-time high for active accounts on the network. Throughout the year, we saw Near Protocol raising funds, where it managed to raise $350 million in just one go. It is said that $1 billion has been raised in 2022 to develop and grow the ecosystem. As far as TVL dropping in October, this was due to the announcement of removal of the USN stablecoin, which had an impact on the DeFi ecosystem. Personally, I believe it shows that the team values the project and the longevity of it more than short-term gains, as the USN had similar properties to Terra Luna's UST that had collapsed to zero. Messari gives us an insight towards the total amount of Near staked in the network in the end of Q3, which was around 48%, similarly to Fantom. Now, one field that Near trumps Fantom is development activity, which is as high as ever and sees only an up and away trajectory. Which project do you like more and why? Fantom or Near? Guys, tell us in the comments below. Now, before I give my final verdict, tell us, Fluffy, what did you find and what's your own opinion on those fighters?
On October 27th of 2022, Fantom announced the launch of Watchdog, a continuous smart auditing system in collaboration with blockchain security firm DPO. Decentralized applications developed on Fantom will benefit from automatic audits by the Watchdog system. So this information and news validates the information you mentioned about longevity and people looking for the long term. Data from FTM scan shows that 364,000 plus unique addresses joined the network last month. The figure represents an impressive 77.69% growth compared to last year, which saw only 4,637 unique addresses in the same time range. Near Foundation is publishing frequent transparency reports to contribute to the long-term health and viability of the ecosystem and reinforce the trust of the NEAR community. Now, let's talk about a ticking bomb. NEAR Foundation on October 24th, 2022 urged winding down the USN stablecoin and announced it's setting aside $40 million to fund a US protection program. USN is a NEAR native stablecoin which was created and launched by the central bank. The foundation said USN is an independently operated community-run project and that it had no direct financial assistance from the NEAR Foundation. DCB contacted the NEAR Foundation to advise it that USN had become under-collateralized, a condition that is inherent with algorithmic stablecoins, especially in extreme market conditions.
That's quite a serious situation, I would say, but I think they are responding very well to it.
Yeah, and then there is also the threat of the regulatory framework that is currently being built, as far as I can understand, at least for Europe. And time will show how this is going to progress.
Well, I would say all in all, Near Protocol seems like a project that moves in the right direction, but the bear market is not very kind to it. The development activity is there, big partnerships that boost the ecosystem is there, huge sums of money to develop further are present, but we need to see DeFi ecosystem catching up. Revenue through fees and total value locked is just not good enough compared to how much this project is valued. Definitely a short-term pick and putting it to my watch list to follow the developments ahead. Fantom, on the other hand, tickles me the right way. Revenue fees suggest a lot of usage, total value locked, and the number of projects contributing suggests that there are people building. Fantom makes good money and its financial report is pretty good. A project with a 583 million market cap that has almost 500 million total value locked and 350 million of digital assets on its balance sheet is just undervalued in my opinion. So yeah, I'm placing my bets on Fantom for the long term. How about you?
Yeah, both of them have competing technologies. Both of them are very promising projects. NEAR Protocol is mostly focused in becoming user-friendly, does have a very strong, passionate team with very skilled developers. Fantom is a strong competitor with obviously much more better tokenomics. NEAR Protocol has a lot more potential, I would say. So my bet would be in both projects with proper risk management, I would say.
Okay, I see. I hear you. So NEAR Protocol and Fantom.
Yeah, I think for me, both of them are winners.
Okay, nice. Now, thank you for watching, guys.
If you liked the episode and want to support the channel, remember to like, subscribe, share, push the bell button, and comment down below. Check if you remain subscribed to our channel. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
They call me a god.